I never imagined that a quiet life would end up in a courtroom showdown against a woman who thought the world revolved around her patio furniture and the VYEW from her porch. Karen sat across the aisle from me now, her face a red storm of indignation, as if she was about to burst at the seams. The flush on her cheeks matched the embarrassment she claimed she never felt. I couldn't help but smirk a little. This was it, the moment I'd been waiting for. I adjusted myself in the seat, feeling the weight of the situation settle in my chest. But my mind couldn't help but drift back to how this all started, how it had gotten to this point. It was all about the chimney. My chimney. That one small structure was now the very reason my life had turned into a battlefield. Karen had it out for it, and she was willing to do anything to tear it down. It all started so innocently, or at least that's how it seemed. A Sunday morning, just like any other. I was sitting on my porch, sipping my coffee, thinking about how nice it was to have a quiet weekend. And then she came storming over, clipboard in hand, lips tight, as if she'd just received DVYNE instructions to start a war. "Your chimney," she snapped. "No hello. No pleasantries. Just straight to the point. It's blocking my sunset VYEW." I blinked, momentarily stunned. I glanced over at the chimney, modest, barely noticeable on any other day. And here she was, acting like it was an affront to nature itself. She slapped the clipboard against her palm like it was a weapon. According to HOA Section 14, no structure is allowed to obstruct the aesthetic harmony of adjacent properties. Your chimney is violating that harmony. It's an eyesore. I couldn't help but chuckle under my breath. The chimney had been here since the house was built, long before Karen or her HOA came around. But no, Karen didn't care about facts. She cared about saw VYEW. And just like that, my peaceful morning turned into a nightmare. By the end of the day, a formal letter was taped to my door, courtesy of the HOA. The letter demanded I modify or remove the chimney within 30 days. My eyes widened as I read the bolded words. Failure to comply will result in significant fines. The audacity. My chimney wasn't going anywhere. But apparently, Karen thought it was. Weeks went by, and the situation only escalated. First came the fines, due law 100, due law 200, due law 500, and each one was more ridiculous than the last. I appealed them. But of course, Karen and her HOA buddies couldn't find my appeals. They conveniently lost my letters. Meanwhile, Karen wasn't just stopping with fines. She began a full-on smear campaign. She rallied the neighbors, weaving tales of how my towering chimney was a blight on the community, how it was lowering property values, blocking sunsets, and destroying her happiness. She even posted a grainy photo of my chimney on Facebook, captioned, "Would you want this ruining your VYEW?" Some neighbors rolled their eyes. Others quietly supported her. But Karen wasn't backing down. She escalated further, filing a complaint with the city about the chimney being an unpermitted structure. Even the city inspector laughed when he came out to inspect. "It's literally in the blueprints," he said, shaking his head. But Karen wasn't taking no for an answer. Next came the lawsuit. Yes, Karen took me to small claims court, claiming that my chimney had caused her emotional distress, that she was suffering from chronic sunset deprivation. I kid you not, those were the exact words her due law 200 and our lawyer used. Sunset deprivation. At first, I was furious. But then, as I sat there listening to her lawyer drone on about emotional duress, something clicked. I wasn't about to lose to this woman. If she wanted a war, then I'd give her one. So, I did what any reasonable person would do. I installed a smoke machine in the chimney. Yes, a smoke machine. A Halloween-grade fog machine, rigged to go off with the press of a button. Every evening, as Karen sat on her porch, glass of wine in hand, ready to enjoy her sunset, I hit that button. The first night, I heard her scream from 3 houses down. "Is that smoke?" she shrieked. She ran out onto her lawn, phone in hand, dialing 911. Convoy and said my house was on fire. The fire department arrived, hoses at the ready, only to discover harmless water vapor. That was just the beginning. Karen was fuming, trembling with outrage. She called for an emergency HOA meeting, but I didn't attend. Instead, I sent a letter citing my right to festive decor under the HOA's own rules. The same rules that allowed inflatable Santas and Halloween skeletons. Karen, however, wouldn't back down. And neither would I. The court date came, and Karen sat there, stewing with fury. Her lawyer stood up, trying to argue that I was causing her mental distress. My lawyer, cool as a cucumber, leaned over and whispered, "Relax. We've got this." And we did. I could see it in Karen's eyes, the realization that the walls were closing in on her. This was it. The judge cleared his throat, and as Karen's lawyer droned on, I sat back, feeling the satisfaction of knowing we were about to win. But Karen wasn't done. Not by a long shot. She filed petitions, knocked on doors, and even ran for HOA president. Of course, no one else bothered to contest her, and she won by default. Now, with her in power, she started pushing for a bylaw amendment that would ban sewer obstructions. It wasn't just my chimney, Anna Maria, it was every structure that didn't fit into her narrow VYEW of perfection. But what she didn't count on was the fact that people were getting fed up. The neighborhood had had enough. One by one, the neighbors started speaking out. We started sharing stories about how Karen had fined people for ridiculous things: bird baths, Christmas lights, lawn ornaments. A petition surfaced, calling for her removal, and it gained traction. Eventually, she was out. The new HOA board voted to dissolve some of her most absurd rules, and suddenly, the neighborhood felt like a community again. I never expected to find myself in the midst of all this drama. I just wanted to enjoy my quiet life. But in the end, I realized that sometimes it takes a little creative time and a lot of patience to take down a bully. The smoke machine wasn't just a way to get back at her. It was a symbol of resistance. And now, with Karen gone, the community was better for it. People laughed more. Neighbors helped each other. And for the first time in a long time, I sat on my porch, sipping my wine, watching the sunset, knowing that no one was going to take that away from me. So what do you think? Have you ever had a Karen in your life? How did you handle it? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Let's talk about it. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories like this. Let's keep the conversation going. Thank you for taking the time to listen to today's story on Store of Good Stories. If this story touched your heart or made you think, don't forget to hit like and share the video to spread this positive message to more people. And if this is your first time here, make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any of the meaningful stories we share every week. Your support is the biggest motivation for Store of Good Stories to keep bringing heartfelt and valuable stories to you. See you in the next video.